is up, YouTube? It is your boy NMR Sports here, coming back at you with another MLB video, and today we are going to be fixing the Angels lineup, as you can see by the title of the video, obviously, that you clicked on. Thanks for doing that, by the way. I really appreciate it. Before we get into the video, hit that subscribe button down below if you like daily MLB content. It's not all Angels, but a lot of it's Angels, let's be honest, because I'm an Angels fan. Let me know if you want me to fix any of your team's lineups down in the comments section below, or talk about some other stuff, maybe defensive positioning, pitching staff, rotation, whatever you want. I just like talking baseball, and yeah, we're going to be doing that every single day this season. Also, let me know your Angels lineups down below, what you think the best options are. Today, we're going to be going over my favorites versus a left-handed starter and my favorites versus a right-handed starter. I'm also going to show you some cool stats on why I think that should be that way and why I think Joe Maddon's lineups lately have been atrocious. So, appreciate you guys watching. Let's get right into the video. All right, so here we have the most recent lineup for the Angels. This is one they used yesterday. This is versus a right-handed pitcher, and this is actually the best lineup I've seen Joe Maddon put out this season. I don't hate it, but I definitely think it could be improved. And then just for an example, so we get an idea what we're working with here, this is the most recent lineup versus a left-handed pitcher when they faced Jesus Luzardo the other day. So yeah, Jack Mayfield in the 4-hole. Not sure how I feel about that. Stassi in the 5-hole. Pretty much an all-righty lineup outside of the bookend, so Ohtani, Trout, and Velasquez. So let's get into it and talk about my lineups, what I would do. All right, so this is the most recent lineup versus my projected lineup, what I think they should do. So versus a left-handed pitcher, I really like David Fletcher batting in the leadoff spot. Now let me show you why I like David Fletcher batting in the leadoff spot. He hasn't been fantastic, hasn't been that great of a hitter since around 2019, but versus right-handed pitching, he has been well above average. This season, we're not really going to look at because it's too early in the season to tell. They haven't really faced that much left-handed pitching. But back in 2021, 116 WRC plus, so he was 16% better than league average hitter, and 152 WRC plus in 2020. Obviously, grain of salt because it was only 32 games facing a left-handed pitcher for him. But overall, man, 348 batting average. He's batting 295 career against left-handed pitching, and he gets on base at a decent clip at about 354. So more than three times out of 10. So I really like Fletcher in the leadoff spot versus left-handed pitching. And then batting second, I love Shohei Ohtani. Now, Shohei Ohtani obviously is going to destroy the baseball no matter who he's facing, but I like him in the 2-hole. Sorry, let's go over him in the 2-hole here. In his career, batting second, he has a 143 WRC plus, so he's 43% better than league average. He's batting 240. I don't really like batting average anyway. Who needs it? Blah, blah, blah. 41 home runs in 129 games. So less than a full season played, he has 41 career home runs. With 39 of those coming in 2021 last season. So in the 2-hole, I absolutely love Ohtani. Ohtani, I love you. I don't like you as a leadoff hitter. I really, really don't. And then plus, when you have David Fletcher batting leadoff here, when Fletcher gets on base, you now have Ohtani to drive him in. Let's say Ohtani strikes out. That's a bummer. Now you have Trout to drive him in. Let's say Trout strikes out. So now you got 2 outs. You got David Fletcher hopefully on second base. Anthony Rendon's up. Those are 3 of the best players in baseball that you have a chance to drive in a runner. And you're wasting it by having Ohtani bat leadoff. Ohtani, Trout, and Rendon are great guys to get RBIs for you. However, when you have one of them leading off, your best power hitter, the guy who almost led the league in home runs last year, it just doesn't make sense to me. I get that he's fast. I get that he has gotten on base in the past. But this season to start the year, man, let's see. Look at his leadoff stats. Shohei Ohtani in 7 games played. He has 1 walk, and he is getting on base 2 times out of 10. He has a 200 on base percentage. That is not good enough as your leadoff hitter. I'm sorry, Joe Maddon. I love Ohtani. I love you, Joe Maddon. But this is just not it. It's just not it. You can't have this. You can't keep doing the same thing over and over again, expecting something to change. You've got to move Ohtani down. I don't want you to move him to the 7-hole or the 8-hole. I want you to move him to the 2-hole and see what happens. I think that would solve all of his problems. He'd get to see the pitcher more. He'd get to get comfortable in the box, as opposed to going up there with absolutely no prior knowledge to what's going on and just trying to get things done. He also gets a lot of 2-out at-bats now, which I think is very bad for him. So anyways, Ohtani in the 2-hole, that's why I have him there, and then Fletcher leading off. This is versus a left-handed pitcher, remember. We got Trout in the 3-hole. Mike Trout, it really doesn't matter where you put him. These are his stats in the batting second. He has a 175 WRC plus, and then batting third, he has a slightly higher one at 177. So, like I said, it's Mike Trout. He's a unicorn. He's the best player in baseball. It doesn't matter where you put him. I'm putting him in the 3-hole for this exercise, but overall, it doesn't matter. One guy it does matter, though, is my number 4 hitter. That is Anthony Rendon. Yeah, so I have Anthony Rendon batting 4th over here. In his career batting 4th, he actually has his highest career OPS, WRC plus, which is 147. So well above league average, about 47% better than league average, to be exact. Let me just get my stat nerd out of me. In 2022, he has a 203 WRC plus batting in the 4-hole. He has just been collecting RBIs like crazy. Dude has just been amazing batting 4th in his whole career, actually. He's batting 306 in 157 games played, so about a full season there. I just really, really like Anthony Rendon batting 4th. He's got the power. He's got the plate discipline to be up with 2 outs. He makes contact at a high clip. He's just a really, really, really good and really, what's it called? A calm hitter. Like, I've never seen someone look so relaxed in the box, and that's what I really like out of my 4 hitter. Next, we got Jared Walsh. Jared Walsh, I think, should be batting in every single game, even if it's versus a left-handed pitcher. I honestly didn't have him pulled up here, so let's pull him up. All right, so I did change my mind a bit. Versus a left-handed pitcher, it's going to be kind of iffy if I put Duffy or Walsh at first base. I do like Walsh as the starter, but versus lefties, he's just never really been able to get it together. In 2020, in 19 games played, he did have a league average WRC plus, but since then he has been absolutely down the toilet. So not a huge fan of Walsh facing left-handed pitching, unfortunately, as much as I love the guy, and I think he's a great hitter. He just hasn't really figured it out versus lefties, and honestly, we don't really have a better alternative at first right now than Matt Duffy. He's got a career 94 WRC plus. His on-base percentage is pretty solid at 343, and this season so far to start the year, 221 OPS plus, or WRC plus, and then a 571 on-base percentage, so he's getting on base, he's putting the ball in play. I think he looks better versus lefties, but of course, Jared Walsh is the best first baseman on our team, so Duffy Walsh, I kind of like a platoon there at the 5 spot. Next up, we got Max Stassi batting 6th, and I'm a big Max Stassi fan, and Max Stassi, surprisingly in his career, has only started 23 games batting 6th. It's so weird. I feel like every game I see Max Stassi is batting 6th. So anyways, in 23 career games, though, he has a 160 WRC plus, and honestly, his splits are pretty even versus lefties and righties. So overall, I really, really like Stassi in the middle of the lineup versus left-handed pitching, just because, you know, historically, righty-lefty is a better matchup. And I just really like that he's able to have some production there at the middle of the lineup. Next up, we've got a platoon again. So if Walshy is playing, then I like Duffy here. If Duffy is playing, then I like Jack Mayfield here. Jack Mayfield has some pretty damn good splits versus left-handed pitching, if I'm being completely honest. Yeah, so this season so far, he actually has a 262 WRC plus versus left-handed pitching, which obviously is not sustainable. But he's always been pretty solid versus left-handed pitching as a pretty good defensive middle infielder / third baseman, sort of a utility guy. But he's very solid versus lefties, which is why I would have him batting 7th there. But if Walshy's in the lineup, I would definitely like Matt Duffy here. Next up, we got Brandon Marsh, and we'll talk about Brandon Marsh more in just a second. But Marsh and Adell, those are your 2 prospects. They've got to be in the lineup, man. They've got to be in the lineup. When Taylor Ward gets back, you know, maybe I'll add it. Maybe I'll add a Taylor Ward platoon here. Adell, Rojas platoon. No, I don't want Rojas. Rojas should not be in the starting lineup. Rojas should be coming off the bench. I love you, Rojas, but man, he should not be starting. So anyways, this is the ideal, in my opinion, lineup versus left-handed starter. We got Fletcher batting leadoff, Ohtani in the 2-hole, Trout in the 3-hole, Rendon batting 4th. We got a platoon with Duffy and Walsh at the 5 spot, Max Stassi batting 6th, Duffy and Mayfield batting 7th, and then Marsh Ward at 8, and Adell batting 9th. Adell's got to be in the lineup, man. I know he's looked like shit, but he's a top prospect. You got to give him some reps. You got to see what you have there. He was tearing the cover off the ball in spring training. We just got to get some of that confidence in him, and you're not going to do that by sitting him on the bench. Next up, we've got our lineup versus a right-handed starter, and we basically have very similar things, so I'm not going to go over the whole lineup, but I will go over the few key differences here. Obviously, Walsh's splits versus righties are absolutely insane compared to his lefty splits. So you see his lefty splits there, career 56 WRC plus, move it to righties, and bam, career 152 WRC plus, a 176 in 2020, 166 in 2021, and so far 162 in 2022. Dude's a stud. He's got to be in the middle of your order versus a right-handed pitcher. I kind of like him in the 4-hole, but I don't want to split up that Trout, Ohtani, Rendon platoon, and I don't like having lefties back-to-back. I'm fine with having righties back-to-back, especially Trout because he has better numbers versus righties, but I don't like having back-to-back lefties. Otherwise, I would probably have Walsh in the 4-hole. I guess it could be Marsh. No, I don't want back-to-back lefties, or else I do Marsh, Ohtani, but... anyways, Brandon Marsh I have batting leadoff, and same story versus right-handed pitchers. Dude is absolutely electric. He has a career 115 WRC plus currently and put up a 297 so far this year. He also has a 600 on-base percentage. The best leadoff hitter on our team right now is Brandon Marsh, and there's no reason that he shouldn't be in the leadoff spot right now. I don't understand. Marsh is easily our best leadoff hitter, especially versus right-handed pitching, and I will die on this hill until I see Brandon Marsh batting leadoff, man. I will not stop complaining. I will complain on Twitter every single day I see a lineup that does not have Brandon Marsh batting leadoff. So, Maddon, you know what to do, bro. This lineup is perfect. After Walsh, we got Stassi, Duffy, and then Adell or Ward, and then Fletcher. Fletcher's still good, but I like him. I love him defensively, but versus a righty, he just hasn't been great in his career. So batting ninth, I like him. And then that way we get back around to Marsh. Marsh can get on base. Trout can hit a home run. Ohtani can hit a home run. Rendon can hit a home run. It's going to be great. So this is the perfect lineup. I'll be honest, our lineup versus lefties is not that pretty, but versus righties, we have one of the best lineups in all of baseball. Take it to the bank, 100%. Anyways, I appreciate you guys watching this video. Leave a like down below if you enjoy this type of content, and let me know what your ideal lineups are for the Angels versus righties and lefties down in the comment section below. I appreciate each and every one of you watching. I'll see you guys all in the next one. Have a great rest of your day.